Thanks for tuning in to this earnings conversation with the management of Delta Corp. They reported all-time high sales, EBITDA and PAT numbers, unless my information is wrong or unless my math is incorrect. And from whatever little we could figure out, the casino revenues were about 20% higher than the best pre-COVID quarter as well. Now, was this revenge travel that led to this? And despite the Omicron worries, over the medium term, does Hardik Dhebar, the group CFO, believe that the momentum can be sustained? Let's put that question across to him and talk about some other internals as well. Hardik, great having you. Thanks for joining in and congratulations on what seems to be a really good quarter for you.
Thank you so much, Neeraj. Let me also compliment you on the study that you have done in terms of comparing the numbers and also comparing it with the highest ever historical numbers that we had achieved. So I think you are bang on. These are the historical highest ever revenue, EBITDA and profits achieved for a particular quarter. And you're absolutely right. This is best than the best before. With regards to the other part of the question or your point that you brought in, whether it is revenge travel, I don't know whether to call it revenge travel or no, because what are the options and choices that people have today who genuinely want to travel or go out? You know, yes, there is Maldives, but Maldives is for the super rich and the rich. Singapore is out of bounds. Hong Kong is out of bounds. Pretty much everything on the Far East is out of bounds given the situation that we are in. But things are getting better. Things have gotten better over the last 1.5 years, and people have genuinely have a desire to travel and break free a little bit. Goa naturally has always been a most preferred destination for almost every Indian family to go to. And that is what we are seeing, given that everything else is out of bounds. And I don't believe the international tourism is going to start anytime soon. And therefore, Goa has an inherent advantage of being a preferred destination. So we have seen the benefits of that rub on to the business. Having said that, like I had interacted with you in the previous quarter, you know, this is a business where we need to get the right quality of people. So we may not want the casinos thronged all the time with, you know, the crowds coming in. It's a very happy situation to see the crowds thronging to the casinos and the casinos vibrant and the full at all points of time. But you genuinely don't need the casinos to be crammed up all the time. You get good quality, decent sized players and serious gamers, as we say. Will achieve the numbers even with, you know, all the COVID restrictions and everything in place. With Omicron coming in, we have seen that in the month of January, the Goa government announced some further restrictions of, you know, the capacity, etc. While that has not impacted us in a large way, so to say, in the first 10-12 days, but given the fact that traveling is going to become an issue with more states like Delhi, Tamil Nadu, and, you know, the other parts of the country, Karnataka, bringing in more and more restrictions, I think one may see a little bit of a speed breaker, if I may say so. I don't want to call it a hurdle or a stop, but a speed breaker of sorts in the very near term, maybe January. But thankfully, you're seeing cases in Mumbai and a lot of other places which are either flattening out or starting to slow down, which is a very good thing. And I think we'll be back to normal soon. And I think the momentum can be continued and managed in the near term, medium term to a long term basis.
So, okay, Hardik, was it operating leverage that drove the margins to the levels that they were at in Q3? And two, leave out this current quarter because there's a bit of an uncertainty, but on a normalized basis, do you reckon those are the operational metrics that are sustainable?
So Neeraj, good observation. And I would also want to say that if you go back to, say, 2018-19 or 19-20, which were pretty much normal years, because by the time 20 financial year technically ended, the COVID was yet not there. It was only the last 15 days of March 20 that we had the impact of COVID. So if you look at the margins, we have historically been in this kind of margins of 37 to 40% on EBITDA levels on a consolidated basis. But if you look at the gaming margins per se, we are at about 43%, which is very, very healthy. I would not say these are our normal operating run rates. is what I would like to highlight and say. Having said that, if you compare previous quarter or previous year similar quarter to this year, yes, the revenues have pumped up, and that is getting reflected in the margin. So if you look at December 21, the December 20, where we had about 2.5 months of operations of sorts, and we did about 160 crores of revenue. As against that, we have gone ahead and done 250 crores of revenue in this quarter. So that additional that we earned has obviously reflected into a better margin, because the costs are more or less frozen. We know this is a very, very high operating leverage business. So going forward, if I'm able to achieve a revenue which is higher than this, you will see direct reflection of that in margin appreciation.
Okay, that's my question to you. Do you reckon that if everything goes well in a blue sky scenario, can revenues be substantially higher than this? I mean, in a manufacturing firm, I'll talk to them about their capacity utilization. I maybe can't talk to you about capacity utilization, but if you get the drift that I'm trying to go at, do you reckon it is possible with the current capacities that you have?
So, what is happening, Neeraj, again, with the lockdown, we rediscovered ourselves that, working from home is an option. Working remotely and doing the calls that like I'm doing, otherwise I would have been sitting in your studio and interacting with you. All this has become possible. Similarly, what we have also realized that, gaming times have also expanded. Earlier, we used to see the footfalls happening only after 7:30, 8 o'clock in the night and going into the night. Now people have started coming in early because, there are restrictions. So that is a culture that is going to develop over a period of time, which we have been over last many years trying to, inculcate or build in. Because if you go to Hong Kong or Singapore or Vegas for that matter, whether it is 11 in the morning or 11 in the night, the crowds in the casino are pretty much stable. Which was not the case as far as Goa or India was concerned. Now, this is going to change and help us change this over a period of time. And if we genuinely become a 24-hour, while we are operational 24 hours of the day, but when we genuinely become 24 hours operations, this is the numbers that we are seeing technically. I am actually operating only 50% of the 24 hours. In the real sense of the term. So, yes, there is a huge possibility that if daytime gaming and daytime gambling, so to say, picks up, this is going to expand. That is one part of it. Secondly, from a capacity constraint perspective, yes, there have been days, and we are very happy to say that there have been days in the past where we had to shut the entry because the casino, the boat was full. To address those concerns, we have already said that we are building a new boat, which is going to replace one of our existing smaller vessels. Thereby, my capacity in the number terms also is going to go more than 2.5 times from what we are today. So that will address the other issue that even at the peak time or the prime time, as you call it in your parlance, prime time also will be addressed and taken care of from a visitations perspective. So I think on a blue sky scenario, there is definitely a lot of potential and a lot of room for growth. And to add to that, there is close to about 10 million to 12 million people coming to Goa in a normal scenario. Okay, I'm not talking of the last 1.5 years, but there were 10 million to 12 million people visiting Goa. What has been the footfall of all the casinos put together? A million and two. So from that perspective, that there are people who are coming to Goa but have not yet seen the casino, have not yet visited the casino. That is a very large number. So both the factors put together, I think there is a huge potential.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the other big piece of news, which is the IPO of the online gaming business. Tell us a bit about why this decision at the current juncture, and tell us what, because I presume it's an offer for sale. The money's come to Delta Corp, the listed entity, I presume. So tell us a bit about this IPO, the timing, the modus operandi, by when do you hit the streets, and what are the numbers around here, and what is the kind of monies that you expect to raise? Please don't tell me, Hardik, it's early days. I'm sure you, being the numbers guy that you are, have some numbers in mind.
So Neeraj, let me first correct you a little bit. It is not a pure offer for sale, unlike most people would have expected it, because we genuinely believe that while Delta is flush with funds, we are sitting on close to 500 crores of cash at the Delta level. But if we need to genuinely grow the online gaming business 2x, 3x, or whatever that number be from here, you need a dedicated war chest for the online piece per se. And therefore, it is going to be a combination. While I will unlock some value for the Delta shareholders by virtue of Delta selling off a part of the stake, but there is a genuine primary offering that we are going to do and bring the money into the company, because we believe that this business has huge potential on its own to grow from where we are today. Having said that, on the valuations front, while I'm not trying to mince my words or I'm not trying to hide behind the garb of anything, the fact of the matter remains that because we did not have the final approvals, we haven't even broached the topic with the bankers at this juncture. Notwithstanding, we also know the fact that there is a listed stock in form of Nazara, which is in a similar space. They have a larger bouquet, which is not high value or high EBITDA generating games as regards to the real money space that we are in. But we also have on the same side, on the private market side, you have the MPLs and the Dream 11s of the world. So we definitely know what kind of valuations are being commanded. And if listing to listing is a benchmark, then you're talking about 7,000-8,000 crore market cap valuation that Nazara is being offered. Now that brings me to the question that Delta is also 7,500-8,000 crores. So is my online piece really getting valued today? I don't know. Given the fact that we are going to be doing close to 160 crores odd of revenue in this financial year, and for poker vertical alone, we'll definitely make a profit, but on a consolidated basis, we will be making a small profit, because what we have done, Neeraj, that poker is a very niche segment, unlike the fantasy leagues or Rummy, which is more mass market and more easily accessible by a lot of people. Poker is a very niche. To be able to reach to a larger audience and to be able to make a carpet bombing of sorts or reach out the mass market, what we have introduced is Adda.Games, which is a multi-gaming platform akin to the MPLs of the world. On the multi-gaming platform, we have a lot of real money games, which are skill games like, Call Breaks and Fruit Ninja, and a lot of things in addition to poker and rummy also being offered on the multi-gaming platform. That becomes a portal or a platform for me to attract the larger audiences. And then I will funnel a percentage of that onto playing hardcore poker, which will start adding to the kitty. So, that's the larger game plan. But to answer your pointed question, honestly, we don't have the numbers as of now. But I also promise you that closer to the IPO, when we are ready to file the DRHP, we'll definitely do another interaction and we'll try and give you much more details around
it. When is that likely to happen?
We are targeting to do it somewhere in the first quarter or second quarter, to be on the outer side of the next financial year, because the process will take 3-4 months before I can be ready. We want to fast track it. So I am going to be dedicating all my energies, resources, along with my team onto that process, maybe from tomorrow itself. And for the next 3-4 months, we'll be dedicatedly working on that. And like I said, in the first quarter, we'll try and achieve the first quarter of the next financial year, or on the outer side, the second quarter at best. But I think we should be able to manage the first quarter of next financial year.
Okay. Last couple of questions, Hardik. One is the last quarter that we spoke, you spoke about this fairly ambitious plan of building something on the likes of what Macau may have, right? Which is a gaming city, so to say, in Goa.
I said it was a mini Genting, but yeah, I'm happy you're increasing my aspirations, but thank you for that.
Well, in a sense, maybe Macau might not be aspirational in the current form of things, to be honest, Hardik. But be that as it may, the question would be, would all the monies that you have currently, as well as what you get from the IPO proceeds of the gaming division of Delta Corp, and some more, would all of that get utilized towards, or large portion of that get utilized towards building this aspirational gaming zone of sorts that Delta Corp has?
You are absolutely bang on, Neeraj. There is no other major capital outlay as far as Delta is concerned. We are generating
the vessels or the hotels, etc., don't require too much money, you're saying. You said that you're refurbishing a whole vessel or something like that.
So we are building a vessel, but that's 150-200 crores give and take here and there. So that's not much. On a current run rate, I should be doing, if I just simply extrapolate my current quarter numbers, a 300 crore PAT. That means that would translate roughly into a close to 400 crore of EBITDA or a little more than that. For the next 3 to 4 years is that even if I stagnate at these numbers, that's about 1,400, 1,500 crores of cash that I will generate over the next 4 years. I'm sitting on 500 crores of cash. That's 2,000 crores of cash. We have a land in Sri Lanka which is up for sale, which we have been speaking about. Of course, that's not a very large chunk, but that will give me about 35, 40 crores of revenue. I have a sizable stake in Advani. For the longest time, you know that Advani Hotels, which is for sale, that should give us 130, 140. 2,000 crores, if I add everything up, it will be 2,200 crores. So if that and my project that we are envisaging to build is going to be anywhere between 1,700 crores to 2,000 crores. So assuming that everything goes as per the plan and if nothing changes, this money should be sufficient to complete my boat as well as the project, and yet Delta remains debt free.
I presume you don't have any plans to raise
and Neeraj, I have not factored in the offer for sale from the IPO because I did not take that revenue stream. So effectively, we will not only complete both the projects, but we will end up with whatever we manage to get out of the offer for sale. That will be cash surplus, and the projects will be complete and will be debt. Yes, as of now, there are no plans for any dilution at the Delta level. But we don't know in the future if there is some large opportunity of acquiring something and we may need some equity. That's a different story altogether. But as of now, there are no plans of any equity raise whatsoever.
Okay. Before we wrap up, Hardik, so just wondering, these revenue numbers that you've clocked in Q3, Q4 might be difficult to pencil in. Sorry for the noise, but do you reckon that that's the kind of run rate that you would look to maintain? 250 odd crores, 247, I presume, is what you did this quarter.
Neeraj, given the fact that we will have restrictions that will hamper something in the month of January itself, and that there are elections in February and March in Goa itself, that will have a little bit of impact. So I may not be able to do a 250, may not be able to replicate 250, but as the current run rate,
Q4, like I said, not Q4 really, but on a normalized basis, FY23.
I think historically we have seen, Neeraj, that every time we have achieved a step-up rise, and this I would call it as that step-up rise, we have been able to maintain that step-up rise for a couple of quarters and then get in another step-up rise. So I think that should not be a much ask. Again, a caveat: all things being normal, no restrictions, and things trying to come back to as normal, at least as they were in this quarter, if not better than this.
Okay. Well, we wish you all the best for that, Hardik. And thanks so much for spending the time today and talking to us. Lovely having you.
Thank you very much, Neeraj. Always pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. And viewers, thanks for tuning in. I hope this interaction gave you some idea of what Delta Corp's numbers could look like in the times to come.